So my Fire Red Nuzlocke ended somewhat anticlimactically. So let's see if we can fix that with this hardcore Nuzlocke. This time, I'll be able to use a full team of 6. This team took Ash to a top 16 placement at the Indigo League, but I'm planning on taking this team to the top. Let's see if I can beat a Pokemon Yellow hardcore Nuzlocke only using Pokemon Ash has owned. I'll also leave a list of Ash-owned Pokemon in the description below if you want to take a look for yourself. The rules of a typical Nuzlocke still apply. I'll have a full list of those in the description too, so I don't spend a couple of minutes explaining the rules. The only thing that differs slightly is that I'm only allowed to catch Pokemon that Ash has owned between Pallet Town and his top 16 placement. So that means no Lapras or Snorlax, as he caught those during his time on the Orange Islands, after his loss at the Pokemon League. Also, I can't evolve any Pokemon that Ash didn't, and the same goes for catching. For example, I can't catch a Pidgey because Ash never did, despite his best efforts. But I can catch a Pidgeotto, and since Ash never evolved his Pikachu, I can't either. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, I won't waste more time on the intro. The analytics show that not a lot of people watch that part anyway, so let's get to what you came here for. After being denied an Eevee thanks to my rival, Professor Oak gives me a not yet tamed Pikachu, who I name Ukakeep. Not even 2 seconds later, my rival challenges me, and I easily beat him. After getting the parcel for Oak, I'm able to buy some Pokeballs, and the Nuzlocke challenge officially begins. I head to Vermillion Forest where I catch my first partner, Margarine the Caterpie, which was the encounter I was hoping for. I spend the next little bit grinding up my team in Vermillion Forest to get my team up to par with Brock's. Margarine quickly evolves into Butterfree, and I quickly make my way to Pewter City to challenge Brock. After Metapod evolves into Butterfree, it learns Confusion. Tackle being a normal type move won't deal a lot of damage to Brock's rock type Pokemon, and Ukakeep is practically useless in this battle. But a psychic type attack hitting on the special side does a decent chunk of damage. Now, you might have noticed I changed the level cap from 14 to 12. That's because I forgot that in Pokemon Yellow, Brock is nerfed slightly. In Red and Blue, and the remakes, his Onix is at level 14. But in Yellow, it's only level 12. It's a good thing I double checked that, or I would have gone in over leveled. Anyways, thanks to a few confusions, Margarine easily sweeps Brock's team, and I grab my first badge. I make it through Mount Moon mostly unharmed. Ukakeep comes close to dying thanks to some poison, but besides that small scare, I make it to Cerulean where I get my next partner, Bulbasaur, whom I nickname Fushigi Dane. I ran out of space for the ne part of Fushigi Dane, so let's just all pretend it's there and move on. I decide to head up to the route above to train up my new partner, where I run into my rival, because I forgot he challenges us there when we walk up to Nugget Bridge. I was unprepared for this battle. The only Pokemon who wasn't under level for this was Ukakeep. The battle itself wasn't actually as bad as I thought it'd be. I was more annoyed with all the sand being thrown around more than anything else. But thanks to some paralysis shenanigans from Margarine and Ukakeep, we eventually get the win. Once I'd beaten everyone on Nugget Bridge, I head up to Route 24 to get my next partner, Charmander, whom I nickname Lizardon. Yes, I know that's Charizard's Japanese name, but since I plan on evolving it, because I can, it saves me from having to re-nickname it. Someone who can't evolve, however, is Bulbasaur. Ash's Bulbasaur never evolved, because it didn't want to, so mine can't either. I also grabbed the ticket for the SSN from Bill, and grabbed my team to be on par with Misty. Lizardon evolved during said grinding session, but I highly doubt I'll end up using it against Misty. Speaking of, let's talk about that battle for a bit. I send out Fushigi Dane, who takes up Misty's Staryu with a couple of Vine Whips. When Starmie comes out, I have Fushigi Dane use Leech Seed just in case I have to switch. Thankfully, no switch was needed, as after a few more Vine Whips, I take out Starmie and get my second badge. My next destination is the SSN, where I once again run into my rival. Ukakeep takes care of Spearow and Rattata, while Fushigi Dane finishes off the battle, taking out Sandshrew and Eevee. While grinding up on Route 11, I ran into a Pidgeotto. Remember, I couldn't catch a Pidgey because Ash never owned one, but he did own a Pidgeotto. I managed to catch it after a few attempts, and nickname it Pigeon. By the way, I won't be evolving into a Pidgeot, because that happened after the Pokemon League. With my new partner, I head into the Vermillion Gym to challenge Lieutenant Surge. Since this game follows the anime story for a bit, he only has one Pokemon, Raichu. I send Lizardon, who I taught Dig to thanks to the TM I got from the Rocket Grunt. I was worried for a second as I was hit with a Thunderbolt that did more damage than I thought it would. If that had crit, Lizardon would have been a goner. But it doesn't, and I take it out after a couple of digs. Once I got on the third badge, Officer Jenny gives me a Squirtle, whom I nicknamed Zenigame. I'm going full weeb on this team. Sadly, this one won't be able to evolve as well. After an uneventful run through Rock Tunnel, I make it to Celadon where I challenge Erica. Pigeon manages to get tangled down to the red, but after getting hit with Bind for 3 turns in a row, I switch Pigeon out for Lizardon, who finishes off Tangela as well as Weepinbell. That just leaves Gloom, and after getting critted from Acid, which also caused a defense drop, I try switching out Lizardon for a couple of other Pokemon. Once I realized Margarine would be 2-shot and Fujigidane couldn't do much to her Gloom, I came to the sad conclusion that one of them was going to have to die. Considering the gym leaders I still have to go up against, I decided Margarine would be the one to go. The way my team was building up, I was about to have 3 Pokemon who would be part flying, and the one who'd most likely be boxed because of it was Margarine. I switch it in, and it was killed by Acid. Bye-bye, Butterfree. Your sacrifice shall not be in vain as Pigeon comes back out. It nearly got itself killed in the process, but manages to hang on and take out Gloom with a couple of fly attacks. With 4 gym badges in my possession, I head to the game corner to kick out Team Rocket. The battle against Giovanni goes fairly smoothly with Fujigidame taking out his Onix and Rhyhorn, and Pigeon taking out his Persian. Up next is Pokemon Tower, where I again run into my rival. At this point, my Pokemon's levels are so high, my rival isn't an issue. Since we're in Pokemon Tower, I should mention that I won't be catching a Haunter. Technically, Ash never caught that Haunter. It just tagged along for a bit. Not once was in one of Ash's Pokeballs. Since the challenge is Nuzlocking a Pokemon Ash has owned, Haunter is sadly excluded from that small team. Once I finish everything I need to do at Pokemon Tower, I head to the Safari Zone to get the HM for Surf and my next encounter, Tauros. Sadly, I failed that encounter. No surprises there given Tauros' low catch rate. I still grab the HM for Surf and head to Silphco. I'm still quite under level for the upcoming gym leaders. It makes a big jump going from level 32 to level 50, and knocking out some Rocket Grunts will help raise my level a little bit. My rival is also here for some unexplained reason, and challenges me again. Ukakeep takes care of his first 2 Pokemon. Fujigidane tries to take out Magneton, but got confused while I was setting up and was hitting itself a lot. With its health getting a little too low for my liking, I switch in my recently evolved Lizardon, who takes out the remaining members of my rival's team. The only thing left to do in Silphco now is to take out Giovanni again. Zenigame takes out his Nidorino, while Lizardon sweeps the rest of his team thanks to a combination of Swords Dance and Earthquake. Still not feeling quite ready for the upcoming gym challenges, I do a bit more grinding. On my grind session on Route 10, I come across Raticate, a Pokemon Ash did technically own for a small cup of coffee. He traded it while on the SSN for his Butterfree. He ends up regretting it and trades it back later in the episode, but by all definitions, he did own it. So I catch it and name it Rata. After a bit more grinding, I challenge Koga. Both Sabrina and him level cap at 50, so I knew I had to be slightly under leveled for one of them. I figured Koga would be the easier of the two, so I went into this battle a tad under leveled. His team consists of 3 Venonats and a Venomoth. Lizardon takes out the first 3 Nats with no issues, but I ran into problems with Venomoth. First off, Lizardon was poisoned by one of the Venonats. Even worse, it gets a special drop from Psychic from Venomoth. I switch it out for Pigeon. Venomoth uses Double Team while Pigeon was in the air, causing Fly to miss. With Lizardon being poisoned and having a bad feeling that none of my other Pokemon would be able to take a hit, I let Venomoth kill Pigeon. I bring back out Lizardon, and after crossing every bone in my body that none of my moves miss, Lizardon takes out Venomoth, giving me Badge 5. Before heading back to Saffron, I decided it'd be best to get the remaining members of my team first and grind them up a bit so I'm not quite so under-leveled against Sabrina. I first head to Seafoam where I catch Crab the Krabby. Then, I make a pit stop at Pokemon Mansion where I run into Bebeton the Muck. With my team complete, I challenge Sabrina. Not much to talk about here. I send out Rata, who sweeps her entire team. Right after that, we have Blaine, and whoops, I forgot to change the level cap. There we go. Back to business. Crab drowns Blaine's entire team, taking out his first 2 Pokemon with a couple of surfs, and finishing off Arcanine with a crit Crab Hammer. The last gym leader is Giovanni. Dugtrio takes Fushigi-Dame down to half health thanks to an Earthquake. Thanks to Mega Drain, I get most of my health back. It tries to take Fushigi-Dame out with Dig, but he hangs on and fishes out Dugtrio with another Mega Drain. After countless misses on both sides, I swear both mons activate Ultra Instinct, Rattata takes out Giovanni's Persian with a couple of Hyper Fangs. After Rattata gets hit really hard with a double kick from Nidoqueen, I send in Lizardon, who thankfully dodges a Thunder on the switch. Lizardon then takes out Nidoqueen and Nidoking with an Earthquake. Last out is Rhydon. I switch in Crab, who one-shots Rhydon with Surf. And just like that, I have all 8 badges. Time to make my way to the Elite Four. But first, my rival wants a warm-up battle. Crab knocks out Sandslash, Lizardon takes out Execute, Ukakeep zaps Cloyster, and Rattata takes out his last 3 Pokemon with Hyper Fang. After another small grinding session to get my team to the low 60s, I make my way to the Indigo Plateau, march in, lock the doors behind me, and challenge Lorelei. Ukakeep manages to take out Dewgong, Cloyster, and Slowbro with Thunderbolt, critting the latter. Crab stomps a mud hole in Jinx. Lapras then confuses Crab. And after hitting itself one too many times for my liking, I switch out Crab for Rattata, who finishes off with Quick Attack. At least that was the plan. Instead, Rattata gets nailed with a crit Hydro Pump, one-shot killing it. Lizardon finishes off Lapras, avenging his fallen comrade, being the first Elite Four member. Bruno is up next. I send out Fushigi-Dame, who I get to set up a few growths while Bruno's Onix tries to attack in vain. I then proceed to one-shot his entire team with Mega Drain. Except for his Machamp, who needed 2 attacks to beat. Oddly enough, it's a similar story with Agatha, but this time it's Lizardon who does the sweeping. Lizardon uses Swords Dance, while I think Arceus Lick then paralyze us, and then destroys Agatha's team with Earthquake. The last member of the Elite is Lance. Ukakeep one-shots Gyarados, Lizardon takes out both its Dragonairs, Crab takes care of Aerodactyl, leaving just Dragonite. Crab manages to get a flinch on Dragonite after a stomp. However, Crab isn't able to get a second flinch and is killed by Thunder. I send out Metmeton, as I feel he'd be my best bet for tanking attacks. Metmeton takes the Hyper Beam pretty well while I was able to get a Toxic off. Sludge almost takes out Dragonite, but sadly only brings it down to potion range. The next Sludge crits, as Metmeton was almost taken out by Fire Blast that unfortunately burns him. Thankfully, Metmeton pulls through, and thanks to the assist from Poison, we take out Dragonite. Of course, we still have one more battle left. The battle against the new champion, my rival. I leave with Fushigi-Dame as my rival leaves with Sandslash. I max out my special with Growth, while my rival has Sandslash spam Poison Sting. Once Fushigi-Dame's special is maxed out, I one-shot Sandslash with Mega Drain and do the same with Alakazam. Exeggutor sadly puts us to sleep, and not wanting to risk getting another Pokemon put to sleep on the Switch, I keep Fushigi-Dame in, hoping it'll wake up. It doesn't, and is killed. Lizardon takes out Exeggutor and Magneton. I switch Metmeton when my rival sends out Cloyster, who I immediately poison with Toxic. My rival is spamming Spike Cannon and Clamp, while I spam Body Slam. We were both down to the red, and it looks like I have to sack Metmeton as well. But Clamp misses the killing blow, and Metmeton finishes off Cloyster. That just leaves Flareon. I was fully expecting Metmeton to die upon the switch in. I went for Body Slam to get some damage in, and hopefully a paralysis. It doesn't happen, but instead of attacking me, Flareon uses Barrier. I use another Body Slam. It crits and takes out Flareon. And folks, I just beat a Pokemon Yellow Hardcore Nuzlocke as Ash Ketchum. After I finished recording all this, I realized that I never caught a Primeape. Mind you, I can't get a Primeape until very late in the game, and by that point, I was very confident that the team I had was the best team I could use to head into the Elite Four. Primeape doesn't really get a whole lot of use in there. As for the challenge itself, we learned that Ash was actually a competent trainer. He could have become the very best like no one ever was, instead of getting his top 16 placement. Or maybe if his Charizard actually listened to him. But in all seriousness, no, this challenge actually wasn't that bad. It was challenging, but not frustratingly challenging. Honestly, I feel like this is a kind of a good bridge to get into from going from doing vanilla Nuzlocke into more elaborate Nuzlocke. I would highly recommend you guys doing this if you want to try out something different besides a regular old Nuzlocke or hardcore Nuzlocke or whatever you like to do. I'll admit, this was actually a lot of fun. If you like challenging Nuzlocke that aren't hair-pullingly challenging, you'll enjoy this one. But anyway, that's it for me. It's time to put the Game Boy down. My name is Jeffrey Yuri, the very best like no one ever was, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.